Today we're making a confectionery that is accidentally 100% naturally plant-based. It is Turkish Delight, classically rose flavored with specks of pistachio. Let's make it. We're just going to start by preparing our tin by just rubbing in a little bit of coconut oil across the pan. We've got a 20 centimeter tin, set that aside. Then we're going to make a sugar syrup by bringing to a boil our smaller quantity of water, followed by sugar. Now we just want to dissolve all that sugar. We're going to cook that on high heat until it reaches a simmer and cook it to 110 degrees Celsius. So then into a larger saucepan we're going to add our cornstarch, the cream of tartar, and then we're going to add in the rest of our water and rose water. Now we don't want to cook this until this has almost reached temperature. So we're just kind of dissolving that cornstarch first. Just make sure there's no lumps before we start cooking. And then in a small bowl I've taken 75 grams each of cornstarch and icing sugar. This is going to be for later on when we coat our Turkish Delight. So our syrup has reached 110 degrees. So now we can cook our starch. I've got these on a medium to high heat. I'm going to bring them to a boil and cook to a thick paste. We just need to keep stirring this so it doesn't catch. You can see that gel is starting to form. We just want to keep stirring this until everything is cooked through and it is translucent all the way through. So you see it's starting to thicken up. So we just want to work our way all across the pan. Then we can turn the heat down to low while we gradually add the syrup into the paste bit by bit. Now we don't want to add it all in where it can become too difficult to incorporate. So we just add in a little bit at a time until it's incorporated. So once we have added all of that syrup, we're just stirring gently until it's all incorporated. You see it's still clear at this stage. This is the base color to which we can add some coloring. So I'm now switching to a silicone spatula and I'm going to keep stirring so it doesn't catch on the bottom. I'm going to cook this on a medium heat, stirring constantly for about 10 minutes. Our mixture will probably take on a light golden color, that's okay. We want to leave it clear without any food coloring until that's happened so we know that it's ready. Now, I wish I could tell you there was a temperature that you need to cook this to, but there isn't, and it actually, the time that you cook it to varies depending on the pan and the rate of evaporation. The test that I like to use is when you draw your spoon across the pan, that it takes a while to close up. Or when you take a set test. This is done by taking a small amount of the mixture and placing it on a clean countertop that's cool to touch or on a cold plate, and then letting it set until it comes to room temperature, about 5 minutes, before checking the texture. So you can see it's taking on a very, very pale yellowish color, and it's very thick, and it's considerably smaller in mass than when we first added all of our syrup in, which means that quite a bit of moisture has evaporated. Now's the time we can add a little bit of food coloring if we like, pick something natural, and just a few drops to give it a nice pink blush. Pink to make the boys wink. And then I'm also going to add some pistachio. Time to take our lightly oiled pan, and then we can add our cooked mixture to it. You can see that it's nice and thick and quite pasty, but it's not fluorescent colored. I've kept it pretty natural, and I'm just going to very gently press it down with the spatula to level it as much as possible. Now you see that it's actually bit hard to maneuver. What we can do as well is give it a very, very, very light spray of extra virgin olive oil. Very lightly oiled fingers to just press that hot mixture until it's level. Now we're just going to leave this aside for at least an hour or two until it's fully cooled, and leave it as is, unwrapped, to allow some heat to come out, and then we're going to dust it and cut it. So we have our Turkish Delight, which is fully cooled, set, and I'm just dusting it with our starch and icing sugar mixture. So just a little bit across the top. This is going to make it a bit easier to cut and store. And you can see it peels away gently from the tray. So I'm just going to flip this out and gently pull it away. And I've just oiled a stainless steel knife, just rubbing some more of our starch mixture. There we have it. The other knife you can use is a serrated one with a gentle sawing motion. This tends to just do a slightly better job of cutting through the nuts. Now we can just toss to coat the ends in the icing sugar mixture. I think there's almost something quite necessary about the pistachios, because I think without them, there tends to be something of a floral overdose. I think this is quite common, but my mom used to get nice biscuits and make a Turkish Delight sandwich. Yeah, great snack. These are a classic for a reason. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do.